Hello ladies and gentlemen, this video is being brought to you all the way from the Netherlands. If I showed you outside, it would actually just look like any view from a window, so I can't prove it, but there you have it. I was hoping to incorporate that somehow to this video blog, but I'm not actually creative enough to do that, so we'll see how that goes. I was in the middle, well, kind of near the end, halfway through, a series about art, and to be honest, I completely lost my train of thought with that. So I'm going to wrap it up, just cut it short, and I'll probably revisit a lot of the points and stuff that I was going to talk about later on, because, you know, this is stuff that is always worth discussing. Coming to the end of these issues, I feel that art needs to exist in and to a sense for a community. And I think when you really look into it, into artists existing within a community, it brings more importance to the individual artists, right? To people like you and me, because we're never going to be, well, I don't know, maybe some people will, but, you know, Hollywood stars or internationally famous pop singers and whatnot. But when you're in, when you're actually in the community and you're interacting with other people and other artists and stuff like that, that becomes the most important thing, and these more, you know, Hollywood and all that actually become less important. I think as time goes by, at least for me, it's just becoming less a part of my life, and the, you know, fame, fortune, all that is sort of, it's losing its value. Because, like, the worlds that we live in are what's important. The real worlds that we live in. The real worlds that we live in are the worlds where we're surrounded with people, right? The people close to us, the people around us. So I also think that it's important to stay grounded while making art. Stay, I don't know, working. I guess keep it in perspective, right? That art is a leisure, and that most, 99.9% of the people have to work, have to do very practical things to provide for themselves. And I don't think artists should necessarily leave that, you know. Although I don't think it's wrong to make a living off of art, but at the same time, at least I don't know if that's for me, you know, just from what I've discussed. Those are kind of the main points that I'm walking away with from this all, and this is still in process of figuring it all out, you know. So I think the why do it in the first place, and where do we stand in relationship to art, and what is our responsibility? Mostly responsibility, probably the most important thing that you should always be asking yourself while you go out and pursue art. So that's going to be it. Next week I'm actually going to do something very different. I'm going to get back to doing this every week, because this vlog has had no direction. It's sort of just been me talking out of my ass, all the random shit I've been thinking about. And so I think what I want to do, and hopefully this picks up, right, because this would be a cool direction, is I'm going to talk about books. I'm going to go into more academic books that are harder to understand, not because, you know, you guys are dumb and wouldn't be able to understand it if you read it, but just because it takes a lot of time, and it takes, you know, they're academic, right, time, the education, and so forth, and not everybody has the time and investment to get into learning this academic language. But I think there's a lot of concepts that are pretty universal and that everyone would find interesting, because everybody, or just about everybody, is interested into deeper concepts and philosophy and so forth. I'm going to start talking about these things. The first book I'm going into is Capitalist Realism here, which is short, sweet, very powerful. Probably just go through chapter by chapter and summarize each chapter related to other things, and I think you guys will all find it very interesting and very insightful to society today and other various topics. Really, at this point, I should spend more time like studying and learning other people's work and really like internalizing it than just throwing out all the stuff that I think, right? These sort of half-baked thoughts and ideas. They're interesting, they're good to think about, but everything that I've said thus far has been very much my untrained thoughts. So, anyways, that's what we're going to do next, and if anybody actually picks up this book, then let me know, and I will go through it, keeping you in mind, and that someone's actually reading this. But if not, I don't expect anyone to actually buy this book. That's alright, because I'm going to tell you most of what it's about, even some of the stuff I don't understand. But, yep, that's that, and I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.